Happy Mother's Day. Everyone out there. Yep. Sorry, I was drinking there, but it is officially Mother's Day. It is 12:09 a.m. on May 8th, 2022. Officially Mother's Day right now. It's been a long weekend, longish sort of week as well. So hello to my one viewer who's probably not going to stick around for much longer, but hello. Yep, see, you just left. So very nice. Then I guess wanted to see if you could make a comment and say all kinds of bad things about me, but that's all right. But yeah, it is officially Mother's Day. It's been a busy weekend. It was Free Comic Book Day yesterday on Saturday. Doctor Strange opening weekend. Went to see it twice. And we'll have some stuff about that. It was a Kentucky Derby, an interesting ending to that as well. Sorry, I just came up with another idea. I think I still have some ideas that I hadn't written down yet. I should have checked these first, but I just got started later than usual. So let me see if there's anything else I'm missing on here. No, I think I hit everything I was supposed to. There's a couple of things I can always drop in here, which I will. But yeah, so so yeah, interesting weekend here. Okay, I can look at this later. But yeah, we have lots of trailers this week. We have casting announcements this week. We've got cameos this week. It's also, for a lot of people, it's prom weekend as well. It's another big weekend. So a lot of the people that I'm friends with on Facebook and Twitter have older kids who are in high school. It is prom week for them, prom weekend. It was prom last night. So they're probably actually at after prom parties now, having a good time. So it's good on that. So yeah, some interesting things going on. Star Wars was May the 4th was May the 4th be with you was this week. Cinco de Mayo was this week. May Day was this week. May 1st was on Sunday. Next week, not quite as much crazy stuff going on. We've got Mother's Day this week, obviously, but then other than that, there's nothing that I can think of. Friday the 13th will be coming next week, so we will have a Friday the 13th next week. So yippee! Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. So let's get into the nitty gritty since it is later than usual. We're gonna do some looking into Mad Honey. We're looking into a lot of Marvel stuff, some casting, trailers, Quantum Leap. Mountain Dew has new flavor, which I might even be able to try now. Lots of trailers. Reviews of the Moon Knight's final episode and Doctor Strange 2. They will be spoiler-esque filled a little bit, so you will find out a little bit about that. A lot of fireballs over the United States. Gorillas doing all kinds of crazy stuff this week. So is there something coming? I don't know. We'll find out. So here we go with our Mother's Day edition of Dylan Knows. I was able to get it in here. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get in here because of all the crazy stuff that happened this weekend. So to begin with, Monday, my daughter had her AP history exam. Tuesday, they had off school for a teacher study day, which I was unaware of till like a couple days before. And I looked it up on the calendar for Boulder High Public Schools. It was like, yeah, sure enough, there it is. Then it was May the 4th be with you, which is what is they call it Orthodox Star Wars Day. True Star Wars Day is May 25th. So that's coming up in a few weeks. Cinco de Mayo, which again is more of an American thing. It isn't really celebrated that much in Mexico. It's more of a celebration of Mexican culture here, I guess, in the United States, much how like St. Patrick's Day is, because St. Patrick's Day is not really that highly celebrated over in Ireland. But it is here. It makes sense the reason why here, because Irish Americans who came, or rather Irish who came from Ireland to America, immigrated here, were treated at that time much worse than or on par with Black people. They were treated awful, terribly. People would put signs out at their jobs saying, help wanted, no Irish, that sort of thing. And so they were able to, since they're community groups, they would find each other and they create communities in these different states, and to, get a feeling of, the old country and tradition and stuff like that. They adopted St. Patrick's Day as their big holiday in America, and was able to have, the celebration of their heritage, and turned it into a worldwide celebration. So there was that as well. And then Doctor Strange 2 came out this week. Excuse me. It made $36 million on the Thursday night preview, which was Cinco de Mayo. And on the 6th, opening day, Friday, it made $90 million domestically. So it's already made $126 million domestically. It was still today's numbers, which will be, or rather, I shouldn't say today, Saturday's numbers, which will be generated sometime later today. And then Sundays, they'll just make a prediction depending on the way ticket sales are tracking and stuff like that. And they'll make a fix for it on Monday when they get the official numbers for Sunday on there. So people are anticipating a $185 to $200 million opening, which is amazing. The $36 million preview night for Doctor Strange 2 is second only to No Way Home, Spider-Man's No Way Home, which came out back in December. And the $90 million debut on Friday is seventh highest of all time. So there you go. It's hasn't been getting as many good reviews, and there is some reason why. I can maybe figure out why, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So we had that. Then today was Free Comic Book Day, or I keep saying day. It's for me, it's still Saturday, even though it is officially Sunday. So Saturday was Free Comic Book Day. I did not go this year because of various reasons. Our Bloomin' Art Fest, which is a local thing that hasn't been going on for 2 years, they were going to do it this year, but they had to move it to another location. I'll tell you why in a second. And that went on. So my wife was working that. And then my daughter had a bowling party she had to go to. And my son and I were going to go get our haircuts at a haircut place near my mother's house. And we were then going to stop by and say hi to my mom for Mother's Day, because we weren't going to see her today since we're going to my in-laws to celebrate with them. So I want to stop by and see her. But when my son and I went to the haircut place, obviously, as you can tell, I did not get a haircut. We got there, it was closed. But the funny thing was, they were open. They were supposed to be open until 4:00. It was 3:20 when we got there. So there's still 40 minutes left that they could have taken us in and cut us. But it was dark. It hadn't looked like anybody was even there all day. So it's possible that maybe they weren't open all day. Or maybe they were open for a little while. Maybe they didn't have enough staff coverage. Maybe they had electrical problem. I don't know. Regardless, so it kind of pissed me off, because this episode 443 of Dylan Knows, is called The Deluge. And the main reason why is because this weekend has been insanely rainy, starting on Friday and going through yesterday. And then I think it's supposed to end sometime today. Let's see what the weather has us in store for us. Rain ending at 4 a.m. So this massive deluge of rain we've been having is supposed to end at 4 a.m. this morning, and it's supposed to be just partly cloudy, or just cloudy to partly cloudy, and chilly. That's going to be 54 degrees today. So it's going to be chilly, but the rain is finally going to stop. And it looks like, we're going to get a warm trend, because it's going to be 64 on Monday and sunny, 70 Tuesday, sunny, 72 sunny Wednesday, 77 sunny on Thursday, 75 partly sunny Friday, cloudy Saturday, 75, Sunday, chance of rain, 73, Monday, chance of rain, 75, Tuesday, chance of rain, 75. So we've got some good weather coming up here real soon, because we are in May right now. So but yeah, so the rain's supposed to be ending here in about 4 hours. So we'll see what happens with that. But it has been a massive rain day, rain days, I should say. Periods of rain on Friday were extraordinarily heavy, that it was hammering rooftops so loudly. And then overnight, you would have some quiet, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, you start hearing the rain trip-trapping against the windows and hitting against the windows and the siding and stuff like that. So you had that with that. Then the winds picked up today, and the rain just continued on through here. Sometimes it was just real misty. Other times it became really heavy downpours. So it's been a little bit of everything. So it's kind of misty out now. It looks like the light rain is going to be ending soon, but we still have, potential for rain for the next 4 hours. So we'll see what happens. But after that, we should have a drier Mother's Day coming up. Now, originally, I was going to try the Nitro Pepsi because I found one today. But I just wasn't feeling it right now, and I was going to get some Gatorade in me. That's why I'm drinking that instead of that. But yeah, so it was good. So yeah, so Doctor Strange had a good opening. Kentucky Derby was today as well, and believe it or not, an 80-1 shot, a long shot, ended up winning the Kentucky Derby, which no one was expecting. So that was insane thing for that. So yeah, so. Crazy out there. And then today's Mother's Day. And after that, that's really it for the busy week. Next weekend, my brother-in-law's party on Saturday, but that's really all we got going on. My daughter has her leadership weekend again. Hopefully she won't get sick. She got sick the last time. Hope she won't get sick this time. But that's good on that. So it was good on that. So we had all that going on this week. So a lot of stuff happening. It was pretty good, I guess. Part of the Cinco de Mayo, part of the May the 4th stuff is Fortnite, the game that I play a lot. They brought back lightsabers, which is always fun to play in the Battle Royales. It's going to end sometime next week. But yeah, so the lightsabers are fun, and you can see a Star Destroyer in the skies above Fortnite, which is kind of interesting. And then they've released a bunch of Star Wars skins again, and so you can do those as well. So yeah, fun stuff. They also released a Scarlet Witch skin to go with the Doctor Strange skin that they had as part of the Battle Pass. So they're on top of stuff. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, they've got a lot of crossover things going through. Marvel had a crossover comic with Fortnite coming out in June, similar to the DC one that came out last year, and there'll be new stuff for that as well. This is my new Red Lantern shirt. I had a new Green Lantern shirt on last week. I think it's my new Red Lantern shirt. So these are really well made, as I said. So they continue to be that way. So yeah, so that's kind of good. So things are rolling along. The Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has finished filming for this. So the Guardians of the Galaxy are no longer doing any more stuff together. It was their last film as we know them. So it was probably kind of a bittersweet last day of shooting this week. So we're going to see that this time next year. They are the May the first weekend in May movie that's coming out next year. So one year from now, you'll be seeing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I'll probably be talking here about the reviews of it. So that's got that going through here. Loki season 2 has a new head writer, so hopefully maybe they'll be able to get back on. It lost its way a little bit. I still enjoyed the series, but it could have been so much more, and it lost its way a little bit. So maybe the new writer will be able to get under control. They're going to start filming, I think, in June, so we'll probably be seeing that sooner than later. So good on that. Anything else Marvel related? Moon Knight had its final episode on Wednesday, May the 4th. And I was lamenting the fact that I didn't think they were going to be able to wrap up everything in 42 minutes. They did a pretty damn good job. Spoilers coming. So we see what was going on with Layla, who was the love interest for them, as she was seeing Harrow get control of the Egyptian goddess and start raining down her vengeance on everybody. And so she was able to get to the temple where the other gods were, and Harrow went in there and wrecked them to take control of the pantheon there. And Layla was able to find Khonshu's statue, and she shattered it, releasing him. and she, Khonshu was trying to get her to become his avatar so they could finish this and stop it, but she refused him. So then what happened was we switched back to the afterlife where Mark is in the field of reeds, and Stephen is suffering in the version of hell, and he says that he's got to help Stephen. So he leaves the Garden of Reeds and goes back to the wastelands and finds Stephen and is able to reconnect with him, bring him back to life, as it were. And the two of them combined, and they were finally combined as one. And then they had Osiris's gates, which they were aiming for anyway, which is send them back to the land of the living, which brought them back in. And then once Khonshu realized that they were back, he knew that they were still his avatar, and so he brought out the Moon Knight, and the bullets came out, and he healed up. But this time, both Stephen and him worked together as Moon Knight to beating up the bad guys and going after Harrow. So you would have the regular Moon Knight, and then they'd switch over to Stephen, and he'd be Mr. Knight, and he was able to fight as good as Mark was, and they'd go back and do all this stuff. So they had big battles in Cairo, Egypt. Meanwhile, Khonshu was taking on the goddess. I forget what the goddess's name was. And the hippo goddess made Layla her avatar to help out Mark. So she became a Egyptian superhero called the Scarlet Scarab, who is an actual comic book hero from Marvel. So she came in there, and so she helped fight with Moon Knight. And so Khonshu was fighting the other goddess. So while that was going on, Moon Knight was fighting Harrow and his people, and Layla was fighting Harrow and his people. And then it looked like that Harrow got the upper hand and was about to impale Moon Knight when he did the and then all of a sudden came back, and he was on top of Harrow, who was all beaten up and bloody and had an axe to his throat. And Layla was like, "What did you do, Mark?" And Mark's like, "I don't know. I didn't do anything. What did you receive? I didn't do anything." So their body was taken over again by something they didn't know, and they were able to defeat Harrow. Now, that was the only bad side to it, is that we didn't get to see the final defeat of Harrow. We just saw him get ready to defeat Moon Knight, and then boom, 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 he was defeated. And so in order to stop Tiamat, I guess is her name or whatever, she had to be connected to a living soul. So they were able to, a living body. So they trapped her inside the body of Harrow. So instead of being the avatar through her, which her powers would flow, she was actually inside of Harrow, and they were able to trap her, and then she couldn't use her powers for whatever reason. So they took Harrow away to a mental institution. And so Stephen and Mark, they made a deal with Khonshu that they would say that they would have to be released from their their bond. And so Khonshu told them that if they did this, they would no longer be tied to Moon Knight anymore. And so they woke up back in Stephen's house with Mark in control. There were 2 goldfish now in the goldfish tank, and Mark was strapped to the bed. So that was kind of funny and sort of a denouement. So we don't know what actually happened with Layla. She said she was only going to be the hippo goddess's avatar for limited time, and she wasn't in the room with Stephen and Mark. So we don't know what was going on with that. So that sort of is, how it ended, sort of kind of happy ending-ish sort of way, whatever. Bad guy defeated. He is in, an insane asylum. The bad goddess is trapped inside him, can't get out. And Moon Knight, Mark and Stephen are free from Moon Knight. All is right with the world. So we get to the only mid-credit sequence that they had in the series. And it cuts back to the insane asylum where Harrow is. And someone walks in and says that he's here to pick up Harrow or whatever, and gives him, is able to get him out of the insane asylum. And Harrow believes it is one of his followers who's releasing him from the asylum. So they take him, and someone walks him and puts him into a limousine. In the limousine is Khonshu dressed in a suit. And Harrow's like, you can't defeat us unless you kill this body, Khonshu. You can't do all this stuff, and your avatar is gone. He didn't want to kill us. So what are you gonna do? And he's like, well, it's not exactly true. My avatar is still in existence, but there is a third personality. Meet Jake, and it's Oscar Isaac as the third personality, Jake, as we've all expected to him show up. And he takes a gun and blows Hera's brains out. So the goddess is gone, and Hera is dead, and Khonshu is still in control of Mark and Steven. They just don't think he is. And Jake is the one that's actually running the show now. So that's where it ended. And so we get more questions and answers, and we're like, okay, we need to see more about this. How did Jake get in there? How do they not know? I'm not even going to deal with this one. If he's in there, how they know that he's not in there, and how is he getting away with it, all this stuff, and what's going to happen now. So there's bound to be something else coming down the line from Moon Knight. So we'll see. But it was excellent. It was a very good ending to it. I thought it was a good episode. As I said, the only problem I had with it is not seeing the final battle between Hera and Moon Knight, which was a shame. So on top of that, let's do this real quick. Doctor Strange 2 was, I saw it twice. First time, I thought it was good, not great. And I'm still think I'm going to cast it in my tier of like in my top 20. It's in my top 20, but there's like 32 Marvel movies now. But it's like in my top 20 now, and it was really good. But there was just some stuff that I was not a big fan of, and I thought that the cameos that came up, they were nice, but they weren't as mind blowing as the reveal of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in the Spider-Man one. And people were building up so much, and I got it. I didn't think that. What all the rumors that people were saying about who was going to be in Multiverse of Madness was going to happen. And I didn't believe it for a second. There was going to be a version of Wolverine, or there was going to be, Tobey Maguire was going to show up. I didn't really believe that, but I kind of thought that maybe Loki was going to pop in there. He didn't. Spoiler alerts, by the way. So basically, the premise is we meet America Chavez, who is a hero in the Marvel Universe comics and is now in the MCU. And her power is she can open star-shaped portals to other multiverses. And someone is hunting her down with demon creatures and stuff like that. And so she's going to the Doctor Stranges in various dimensions to try to help her. And they need to find a mythical book called the Vizoth or something like that. It's a book that is the good side of the Darkhold. The Darkhold is the evil one that Wanda from the Scarlet Witch from WandaVision was reading at the end of WandaVision. And it's like the evil sort of dark magic sort of stuff. And this Vishante or something like that is the opposite of it, is the light side. And if you get it, it'll have any spell that will defeat any villain that you need it to do to villain. So they're trying to find it. It's in a mysterious place, but it starts off with America Chavez and a different Doctor Strange, one with a ponytail and a different type of suit. They call him the Defenders. Doctor Strange are on their way to find this book of the Vishante, and this giant creature is trying to get him. And the giant creature ends up slashing Doctor Strange's leg, and is too powerful for him. So he believes that the only thing he can do is to suck the power that America has out of her body and into him, and he'll be able to control the multiverse. But that will in turn kill America. And so she's not all for that. And eventually the creature gets the best of them and impales Doctor Strange and traps America and starts sucking the power out of her. But then Doctor Strange, before he dies, is able to free America. She gets sucked into her own, dimensional portal, and the dead body of this alternate universe Doctor Strange goes with her while the creature gets destroyed. And that's how it begins. And then after they get sucked in, there's a spinning thing, and then it's our Doctor Strange waking up from a bad nightmare. So it was just a dream to him. So he gets up, he's getting dressed to go to Christine's wedding. Christine Palmer, the nurse he was in love with from the first movie, he's been invited to her wedding. He's going to it. So he goes to the wedding and talks with her and realizes that, he still loves her, but things are different now. She's in love with another person and got married to someone else. And he's happy for her and all that stuff. And so just before they have any more conversation, a ruckus happens outside the church or the reception hall, and Doctor Strange has to go and save the day. And America shows up being chased by another creature, and Doctor Strange, along with Wong, help her, and they defeat the creature. And then they learn about what America's doing, learn about the multiverse. And the creatures had runes on them, meaning that they weren't dealing with a sorcerer, but with a witch. So Steven decides to go to Wanda for help because he's the only witch that he knows. So he finds her in a apple blossom field, and she's like, I'm retired. I'm not dealing with magic anymore. And he's like, I could use your help. Come help us out and see if you can solve this thing. And then Wanda says those words that get her in trouble. She's like, maybe you should bring America here. And that causes Steven to stop. It's like, I never said her name. So he realizes then that Wanda was the one who has been trying to get America and use her power to go to an alternate reality where she can be with her boys from WandaVision, because she knows ways to do it and she needs her power to do it, to go to these multiverse places. So Wanda threatens to destroy Doctor Strange and Wong and the other sorcerers at Carmitage who are defending America. And so they have a big battle at Carmitage where Wanda just goes unleashes all of her evil powers and kills a lot of people, a lot of sorcerers. And America and Doctor Strange are able to escape through a portal, but Wong is left behind. And so they go through a bunch of multiverses real quickly, which in a real trippy scene, and then they land in one that looks like a utopia where everybody seems to be wearing hats of some kind. And their plan is to go to find the Doctor Strange of that world to see if they can, if he can help them find the Vishante book and stuff like that. But we learn more about America's history, about what happened to her. And they go, and Doctor Strange of this world is dead. He died defeating Thanos, and Baron Mordo is now the Sorcerer Supreme and is in the house. So he treats Steven like a friend. So they go in and they have a conversation about the multiverse and what's going on and stuff like that. Meanwhile, though, Mordo has drugged their tea and has knocked them both out. And they wake up, America and Doctor Strange wake up in these glass cubes. And Christine is in charge of these glass tubes. We find out it is a scientific place where they when any multiverse incursions come in, they have to trap them and do tests on them to make sure they're not going to be harmful to the multiverse. And then the Illuminati has to decide what is going to be done to them, if they're going to be killed or sent back to another reality or whatever, or whatever. So Doctor Strange gets released and meets the Illuminati, and this is where the cameos come in. So spoilers come up if you don't want to know what the cameos are. We get Captain Carter, played by Haley Atwell, who appeared in the What If cartoons. We've got I want to say it's not Monica Rambeau, but her mother, who was friends with Carol and Captain Marvel, is now the Captain Marvel in this world. We have the actor who played Black Bolt in the Inhumans TV show that was briefly on ABC. That was a spinoff of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He appears in there as well. And the big surprise cameo in that one is we get some fan service here. John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic. Exactly how people expected to picture him, with the beard and the Fantastic Four logo and stuff like that. So he is Mr. Fantastic. That got the biggest, I think, when he popped up on screen. So, And then they start talking, and they detail that the Doctor Strange of their world actually was not a good guy. He was using the Darkhold to try to find a way to defeat Thanos, but in turn created an incursion which destroyed a universe, including a trillion people. And he couldn't believe what had happened. So he turned himself into the Illuminati, and they chose to kill him because he killed a trillion people. At first, they found the Vishanti and were able to use the Book of Vishanti and use it to stop Thanos. But then he hid it, and then he had to suffer for it. He had to be punished for his creating the incursion and death of a trillion people. So he was killed by Black Bolt talking, because that's his power. And then we get one last surprise cameo, which isn't really a surprise if you saw the trailer. It is, yes, Patrick Stewart's Professor X shows up as the last member of the Illuminati. So that's really your main cameos. Those are the only ones you're going to get. I think you get the one, I can't remember her name right now, but the one older martial artist from Shang-Chi who ran the village that they came to at the end of the film. And I think it would be his aunt, probably, played by that really good actress who's now in that cool multiverse movie of her own. But she popped up in there as well. Excuse me. Bruce Campbell, as always, pops up in a Sam Raimi film as a pizza ball vendor who Doctor Strange ends up having him beat himself up. So that's kind of funny too. But that's really it. So then they tell him about the history of what happened, and then Wanda attacks the Illuminati place and ends up killing all the Illuminati members except for Mordo, who is watching Doctor Strange. And the two of them get into a fight, and then Doctor Strange is able to escape. So Mordo's still alive in that world, but he's the only one. So then he and America and that world's Christine have to escape from a insane Wanda, who actually tore up a bunch of Ultron guards as well. And they are able to they're not able to escape. America gets captured by Wanda, and Christine and Doctor Strange get kicked into another dimension. Now, I forgot to mention that after the attack on Carmitage, and after America and Doctor Strange disappeared into the multiverse, Wong is held captive by Wanda, and she is trying to get her power together. And one of Wong's students, or one of his teachers, comes in and destroys the Darkhold, which absolutely drives Wanda insane. So she threatens to kill three people, three of Wong's students in front of him if he does not reveal what he knows about the Darkhold. And so he reveals that the Darkhold was just a copy, that the actual stuff is in a temple in Windigard. And so they end up going there, which is where America gets kidnapped and thrown to. And Doctor Strange and the other world's Christine go to a land where there was an incursion, which during the Illuminati speech, Reed Richards, played by John Krasinski, talks about incursions where two universes, when they collide, they destroy each other, and billions are dead, or they combine in a weird way, stuff like that. That's going to be important later on when I talked about something here in a second. So they go to this place where an incursion actually happens. So there's just all this disaster, and there's no people and anything like this. But there is a Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange goes to him, and he's a darker. Doctor Strange used the Darkhold, and a third eye appears on him, and they have one of the greatest fights of all time, a music battle using music notes. And eventually the bad Doctor Strange gets defeated, and our Doctor Strange decides the only way to take out Wanda, who's using the Darkhold, is to use the Darkhold of that world. So he ends up using the Darkhold and ends up entering the body of the dead Doctor Strange from the beginning, was buried in our MCU thing, and he is able to what they call dream walk, which is use his spirit from one universe to the other and inhabit the body of this zombie Doctor Strange. And he goes and attacks Wanda, and eventually America is able to get her powers under control, and she takes on Wanda a little bit. Wanda almost beats her, but then Wanda takes her to the dimension where she sees her kids, and they're scared of her because she has beaten up their mother, who is, also Scarlet Witch, but in an alternate reality. And so they're scared of her, and she realized that she was doing everything for her boys, and she realized she was doing it wrong. And so she decides to turn good. So she destroys all the dark holds in the world and, just destroy herself. And that's basically kind of where it ends. So everything gets back to normal for the most part. So then the last scene has Doctor Strange going for a walk, and then all of a sudden immense pain happens, and we see the third eye pop up on him, because when he used the dark hold, he became possessed by it, and he has a third eye now. That only pops up periodically, and that's where it ended. And then the mid-credit sequence has Doctor Strange is another day, and he's out walking again when he is interrupted by a gorgeous blonde-haired woman saying that she needs his help because he has caused an incursion. They need to stop an incursion from occurring. And she uses a dagger and creates an entranceway to the dark dimension, which is where Dormammu was. And the two of them, he opens his third eye and he gets his costume on. The two of them jump into the portal. That woman is Clea, who is, despite what everybody believes from the movies, is actually Doctor Strange's great love, ends up being his wife. She is, I believe, the daughter of Dormammu. She falls in love with Steve, and Steve falls in love with her. They get married, and in the comics, actually, right now, she is the Sorcerer Supreme after the death of Doctor Strange. But even better is Clea is played by one of my favorite actresses, Charlize Theron, which is even better. So that's your mid-credit sequence, your big one there. So Doctor Strange will return. You get that at the end, and then you get the coda to the Bruce Campbell joke that's been going on. So that's your movie right there. Now, what this opened my eyes to is, I believe this Phase 4 of Marvel is going to, how the other phases ended with Infinity War and Endgame. I think it might not be this phase, but eventually, when they get enough of the films in a way and set it up enough, it's going to lead to Secret War, which is where Doctor Doom, and Omnipotent Doctor Doom, helps protect two universes getting ready to collide, including the Marvel universe and the Ultimate Universe getting ready to collide. He stops that from happening and creates a world which combines those worlds with a whole bunch of other worlds, so that there's one big giant world with all these different multi-versions of each other, all spread out. There's a mutant land where all the mutants are living happily and stuff like that. And there's an Old West one, and there's all these different multiverses all combined in one area. And I believe that's where they're heading with this phase. Most importantly, during John Krasinski's speech as Reed Richards about incursions and discussions about that, about two universes colliding and causing the deaths of many people and stuff like that happening. That's exactly what they call these things in the stuff leading up to Secret War. So I believe, with all the multiverse stuff that's been going on, the introduction of the multiverse, Loki and Sylvie messing up the stuff with Kang and stuff like that, Wanda getting into her power, stuff like that is, and then, Spider-Man No Way Home with all the, the weakening of the interdimensional walls and this multiverse of madness thing where we have America who can open up portals and stuff like that. And she's staying in the 616 training in Karmatage with Wong. So she's still going to be around for a while. And so you have all that. And then you have, Mr. Fantastic talking about incursions and stuff like that. And then the police force of the Secret War show, or the comic, I should say, were the Thors. And with the arrival of the Jane Foster Thor, that makes for at least two Thors that they can have. And if they introduce a Beta Ray Bill down the line, you got yourself your Thor police right there. So you got that coming up. And then you've got Ant-Man 3 dealing with Kang directly. You got that coming up. And let's let's see what else you have. That's really, I think, about it. But and then this phase 4 is supposed to end with Fantastic Four, the movie Fantastic Four. Told you John Watts has left the directing of that, and that movie wasn't come out until 2024, so they have to find a new director for that. But it looks like they might have found their lead in John Krasinski because we know that in a lot of the multiverses, the actors who the people who play multiple roles of themselves in multiverses are usually the same actors. Like Benedict Cumberbatch has played all the Doctor Stranges in all different universes, so we're gonna get something like that. So we'll see how that goes. I was not a fan of how they did Wanda dirty. They made her the bad guy in the film. She's not possessed by Nightmare, which was a theory that was going to be out there. She's possessed by the Darkhold, and she's doing all this stuff. She brutally annihilates the Illuminati. I mean, she kills them brutally, and she kills a lot of people in Carmitage, and she kills other people in the Illuminati world, and she's trying to kill all kinds of people. So she's not in her right mind. Obviously, the Darkhold's got some control of her, but Elizabeth Olsen is just too good as Scarlet Witch, and Scarlet Witch is too good of a character that they can't have her end on a one-note villain who ends up, redeeming herself kind of by destroying stuff and then committing suicide, even though I don't think she's really dead. We do have the Agatha show coming up, which could be a continuation of this stuff, or maybe the next appearance of Elizabeth Olsen could show up in that. And then eventually they've been rumored that there was going to be a Scarlet Witch movie, which you could do technically if you want to, if you're going to take a couple phases to do the Secret War thing to set it up even more, you could do that and have a Scarlet Witch movie in there, which could help redeem her. You could create a X-Men world, to bring them into the universe, because eventually what happens is after Secret War happens, they sort of combine all these universes into one universe so that you're going to get bits of everything in there. So you could have the mutants come over and all this stuff. So we'll see if that ends up playing out or whatever. So there's that. During the film, before the film, we had the trailers, and the first trailer for Avatar came out, Avatar 2. It has not been released online yet. I'm sure that'll eventually come sometime next week. It has a really good New Age theme to it, but and it looks pretty, but again, I'm not the biggest Avatar fan. So I guess it looked okay. Avatar 2. Let's see if I can find the music. Avatar 2 trailer music. Let's see if it pops up here. It doesn't appear to be a regular song, but it looks like it might be. I'm just going to see if this is. Give me a second. I just want to see if this is the one. Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's see if the comments have what it is. Yeah, it doesn't have a name of it, but it is beautiful music, though. So I don't know if it's just going to be if it's based on anything or they just created it. So that's cool. So I did find that, though. So that's good. So I got that onto my playlist. So I'm good on that. I'll move some stuff around. So it looked good, but you know what? I've never been the biggest fan of Avatar, and it looks good, but it's just one of the things that I'm dying to go to movie theaters to go see. So I guess I will wait till it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray. So we'll see. We'll get probably some more trailers before it comes out in December. Maybe get a better general idea of things. But it looked okay. So what else we got going on here? Not ready to talk about that yet. Where was that one thing I was going to talk about? Oh yeah. The Percy Jackson TV show has finally cast the remaining 2 characters. A couple weeks ago, I told you they cast Percy Jackson. The actor who played young Ryan Reynolds is in this one as well. Well, they have actor Aryan Simhundre will be playing Grover, and Leah Sora Jeffries will be playing Annabelle. So they have cast the trio. A lot of people are upset because the Annabelle is African American and the Grover is Middle Eastern. So they're trying for an inclusion sort of thing, but people are saying that's not how it is in the book. Blah blah blah. Well, no, deal with it. That's how it's going to go here, and I'm fine with it. They're not just unknowns. Like Leah Jeffries was in a bunch of dramatic TV shows and movies, stuff like that. And Aryan Simhadri was in the Disney Channel's show about the Cheaper by the Dozen, the kids and stuff like that. He's in there as well. And he's done some other stuff too. So I'm fine with it. I mean, they're all saying, well, she's not going to have, Annabelle's not going to have her gray eyes. That's her character. No, she can have her gray eyes. African Americans can have gray eyes, and you're going to put contact lenses on her. She's going to have her gray eyes. But what about her blonde hair? Dude, just get over it. It's not going to happen. The gray eyes are the most important thing, and you can do that with contact lenses. So it should be good. So now they've got everyone cast for the most part. They start filming in June, so we're going to start hearing more and more information about that. Cobra Kai had their teaser trailer for season 5 come out, and it has a September 9th arrival date, and it continues a storyline where Johnny and Ralph Macchio's karate dojo has to shut down, and Cobra Kai starts expanding across the state, and there's some other stuff going on. So we'll see what happens and how that goes. The first look at Netflix's show about the last Blockbuster. It's a show I talked about a while back, which is an irony where Netflix killed Blockbuster, and so they're doing a show now about the last Blockbuster. Has the cast of Melissa Fumero from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Randall Park from The Office, and also was Jimmy Choo, I guess, from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and also WandaVision. So we've got a good cast in place for that right now. Apparently, everybody's in love with the Quantum Leap reboot, that it went directly to series for NBC. So there was don't need to make a pilot, and then we'll decide. No, they say you're going right to series. So we're going to have a full season of Quantum Leap reboot coming this fall, probably. So good on that. So I'm interested in seeing that. I think so. Cameos abounded this week. Will Wheaton appeared in the Picard season finale. There was rumors that he was going to be there, but he wasn't saying anything, obviously. But the way the story was going, it wouldn't make any sense for him not to show up. And he did. He did show up in the finale, so good on that for Will Wheaton, and he was very, very happy with that. So he popped up in that. The Netflix show Frankie and Johnny, that stars Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, who worked together in 9 to 5, has gone on for 5 seasons. I think this is the final season, and then the final episode, they have their long due reunion with Dolly Parton. The 3 of them starred in the great film 9 to 5. So that's interesting to see them together. And actually, that was the wrong thing I was looking at. And speaking of Dolly Parton, along with Eminem, Lionel Richie, and Duran Duran have been voted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So Dolly Parton's having quite a day here. Ed O'Neill be playing disgraced LA Clippers owner Danny Starling or something like that in an FX limited series. So Ed O'Neill has his next role lined up. Let's see. The House of Dragons trailer, the prequel to the Game of Thrones with Matt Smith, got its first trailer. I didn't watch it because I don't care, but it's out there now. So if you're interested in that, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you want to see the prequel stuff, just type in House of Dragons trailer, you'll find it. The new movie version of Salem's Lot is due out on September 9th, which was around the same time that the It movies came out. So that's good. That'll be out this year. Green Lantern Beware My Power trailer has Jon Stewart as the Green Lantern getting his first solo animated film. So we get that going good as well. Crimes of the Future, David Cronenberg's mind-bending mindfuck movie gets its first trailer starring Viggo Mortensen, Kristen Stewart, and Léa Seydoux. It looks really bizarre. It looks like a David Cronenberg movie, so it looks messed up. The Mayfair Witches have cast its antagonist, Lasher, played by Jack Houston, who was in Irishman and the Fargo TV series. And I'm wondering, with the last name of Houston, if he's Angelica Houston's son. Let's look that up real quick here. What's his name? It is Jack Houston. So let's see if his mother is who I think it is. Jack Houston. British actor, so maybe not. Known to play Richard Harrow in the HBO drama series Boardwalk Empire, fourth season of the FX. Yeah, he's not related to John Huston or Angelica Houston. I'm sorry, his paternal aunt is actress Angelica Houston. I'm sorry about that. So his aunt is Angelica Houston, and his grandparents were John Huston, the famous director. So, okay, so he is related to them, just in a roundabout way. Angelica Houston is his aunt, not his mother. So it runs in the family, so that's good for him. So that show's getting a little kind of interesting. I read a little bit of the first book when it came out, and it just didn't catch my interest. I was also really young at the time, but it got Alexandra Daddario as the main actress, and she's a hottie. And now we got this, so we'll see what happens. We get a little bit more information about why Frank Langella was released from the fall of the House of Usher. Apparently, he was accused of misconduct. Apparently, he was doing a love scene with a younger actress, and she felt that he touched her inappropriately. He swears that he didn't, and was trying to talk to her to explain himself, apologize, whatever, and she was refusing to see him until they removed him. Apparently, his role was almost completely done filming, so they've got to scrap all that and reshoot with the new actor Bruce Greenwood, who I announced last week. So we got to do all that again. Fred Savage is also suffering from the same sort of thing. He was removed from the Wonder Years reboot after he had misconduct, accused of misconduct as well. I haven't heard much more about that, but those two have been released from their contracts. The Ipcris Files, which is an old show from the 60s, is now getting a reboot on Paramount, I think. On AMC Plus. It's about a spy and stuff like that. It looks interesting. So the first show for that is out as well. 10 years ago this week, The Avengers came out. I think it was May 4th. The original Avengers came out. Still my favorite Marvel movie, and you could say that my watching it was colored by that. I went to a special screening of the entirety of Phase 1 before the midnight release of Avengers. So the day before the midnight show, well, it was like May 3rd, I guess. It came out on May 4th. And May 3rd was a Thursday, I guess. At 11 a.m., I went to the White Marsh AMC, which is where they're having this event. And for like $100, something like that, I was able to sit in the movie theater all day. And we watched Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, and then that led to the premiere of The Avengers. Watched them all in a row. There were some breaks in between, so you could get up, walk around, get something to eat, go to the bathroom, whatever. But I stayed for the entire day and watched all those movies leading up to The Avengers, so that's why it was quite the experience for me, and really enjoyed it immensely. And I got home like at 2 a.m. and I had to get up early to go to work because I took I took Thursday off. I couldn't take Friday off also, so I had to go into work that next day. That like 4 or 5 hours later, I had to get up and go to work, so that was kind of hard. But I did, and I had a good time, so it was great. Also this week, I think Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire one, is the 20 years anniversary came out. I think it was May 2nd. It was the 20th anniversary of Spider-Man. I remember I wanted to see that with my dad, but we just didn't connect, so I saw it in the movie theater at the AMC up here in I want to say it's up here over in Owings Mills, 2002, but I don't know if I wasn't living up here yet. It was this one, right? Maybe it wasn't this one. Maybe it was one. I don't know. It was the Hunt Valley when it was the Hunt Valley movie theater, so never mind. So yeah, so the 20th anniversary of Spider-Man is this week as well. A new Mountain Dew flavor is now out and about. It is Purple Thunder. It is a plum flavored Mountain Dew, which is only available at Circle K's, which are gas station convenience stores. And hey, conveniently enough, the back road I take into work, there is a Circle K. So I might have to roll in there maybe on Monday, pick up a couple bottles of it and take it to work and have it there. So, and try it. So if I end up doing that, I will let you know how that goes. Trix fireworks are now out and about for your 4th of July thing. Fireworks cereal for your 4th of July. Going into 4th of July, still got a couple months to go before that, but still it's out and about now. So if you want to do that, that's good. Mad Honey, which is a hallucinogenic honey from Nepal. I did not know that even existed, but it is the most hallucinogenic honey out there. So, go look up for some Mad Honey and see if you can get some of that. Moon soil can apparently turn carbon dioxide into oxygen. Again, don't know the science behind it, but apparently they are able to turn carbon dioxide into oxygen, which is a big deal because if the moon soil is like that, there will be ways you could be able to live on the moon if you needed to by converting the moon dust and the carbon dioxide into oxygen. So that could potentially be a big thing as well. A woman finds a 2,000-year-old Roman bust being sold for $35 at a Goodwill in Texas. That just is a really weird, how did it get there sort of, and how this person stumbled upon it. It's something that's been happening a lot lately. There's been a lot of these strange, going to Goodwill or swap meets or whatever, and you discover these, priceless antiquities. And that's kind of a weird sort of how that happened. It reminds me of a joke on The Simpsons where there's a swap meet at Springfield and Homer is looking through this one box of stuff and everything is a big deal. It's like the first issue of Superman. He calls it junk. He's got the stamps that are printed upside down, a whole sheet of them, which is worth millions of dollars. He calls it junk. Says, oh, the plane is upside down. There's a actual original version of the Constitution in this as well, and a Stradivarius signed violin. So it just kind of reminds me of that kind of stuff. Something just left a galaxy traveling at 5 times the speed of light, and the Hubble caught it. So we don't know what it was that got ejected at 5 times the speed of light, but something got ejected out of a universe here. Not too many deaths, but some hard-hitting ones. It's character actor death time. Michael Haggerty died. He was character actor who was in the movie Overboard, was on Friends for a few seasons, multiple episodes, was in Star Trek, had done a bunch of stuff. And Kenneth Welsh was also a character actor. He was in Twin Peaks, The Freshman, and also Star Trek. He passed away this week as well. Mike Lemmon, a Philadelphia casting agent and actor, died this week as well. Sad news, a 10-year-old Little League player died during a baseball game. Don't still know how that happened or why it happened, but that was kind of a sad story there. And then I know somebody else died in here, which I didn't write down. So give me a second here. And then the big one I'll tell you about in a second. Oh, yeah. Local news, traffic jam Jimmy Urin, who brought traffic knowledge and laughs to Baltimore, died this week as well. That's more local news, but he did pass away. But the big one happened today, actually. Technically, it was tomorrow, or was yesterday, rather, or was on Friday, but wasn't revealed until today. George Perez, the GOAT, one of the greatest of all time comic artists and writers, died on Friday. We knew he was going to die soon. He had a cancer diagnosis, I guess, about 6 months ago. That's saying he wasn't going to last. He was going to last about 6 months, I guess. And it really hit everybody hard because George Perez is one of the greatest of all time artists. He was the artist on Crisis of Infinite Earths. He was the artist on the new Teen Titans. He was the artist on the Wonder Woman reboot in 1986. He worked on the Avengers with Kurt Busiek. He did some other stuff, but he did a ton of stuff for both Marvel and DC. Is considered to be one of the greatest artists of all time, and we knew he was going to die eventually because of the cancer, but it just still hits you hard when someone passed away. So the comic world is mourning him today on Saturday, which is Free Comic Book Day, and for the rest of the weekend probably. But yeah, he was able to, he had plenty of time, so he was able to get his house in order and things. He was able to die peacefully without anything to worry about, and he succumbed to cancer. So kind of a big event in the comic world here, and you're going to probably hear about it for the next few days. So. Uncoupled trailer, new Netflix show, which has Neil Patrick Harris playing a gay man whose 17-year marriage to his husband ends, and now he's re-entering the dating world after 17 years of marriage. So gives Neil Patrick Harris a chance to do something that, where he's not hiding behind being a heterosexual, and being himself and showing that gay people can have romantic comedy sort of shows as well as normal people can. So good on that. Excuse me. There's always one I can't read here. Oh yeah, Miss Marvel, the next Disney TV show, is going to be released in the movie theaters in Pakistan because they do not have Disney Plus yet, but they want to show it. So every episode will be released in movie theaters so people can still catch it, which is really good. Viola Davis, who played Amanda Waller in the DCU, wants to get her own HBO series, so HBO Max series. So that's in the works right now. But excuse me. NFL wise, the international football games, there are going to be 5 of them. They've announced who's going to be playing where. England has 3 games. The Saints and Vikings, the Giants and the Packers, and the Broncos and the Jaguars will be playing in England. The Seahawks and the Buccaneers will be playing in Germany, and the 49ers and the Cardinals will be playing in Mexico City. So we've got our international games set. They're all like in October and November-ish. So we've still got a few months before that actually rolls out here too. New trailer for Kenobi dropped on May the 4th. It shows some more stuff about what the story is about and Obi-Wan's first encounter with Anakin as Darth Vader. So that's kind of interesting. The Sex Pistols are getting their own series called Pistols on FX. First trailer for that popped out this week as well. Don't Worry, Darling, a bizarre trailer, 1950s creepy cult vibe, starring Florence Pugh and Chris Pine, directed by and co-starring Olivia Wilde, had its first trailer release. It had a very 1950s sort of vibe where the men are, it is set in the 50s because the cars are 1950 styles, the outfits are 1950 styles, the houses are 1950 styles, the parties and stuff like that are 1950 styles. And it almost seems like they're doing it's a movie about like the atomic bomb and stuff like that, because the women don't know what the men are up to, but the men are, trying to keep their women close by. And there's, it seems to be a lot of sexual stuff in it, stuff like that. So it could be interesting to see what comes of that. So it looks interesting, and to see Florence Pugh playing something else and Chris Pine playing something else as well is pretty good too. And Olivia Wilde directed it, so that could be a real big thing too. Elizabeth Banks's Cocaine Bear movie is set for a 2023 release. I talked about that when it was first announced, and it's going to come out next year. Fossils of a giant whale-like creature called an ichthyosaurus have been found in the Swiss Alps. So it's at one point, apparently that must have been underwater. And now, there you go. 5 fireballs flew over America in one night, including one that was 10 times brighter than anything in the sky, streaking over Mississippi. The two of all these came out on one day, and no one knows why all 5 of them, fireballs happened in one night here in America. So that's kind of a interesting sort of thing to do. Last week, we talked about Naomi Judd's death. It has been verified that she had committed suicide. It's always sad when suicide takes the life of somebody. So we know how she passed away. Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage during his Hollywood Bowl stand-up comedy act. No one was hurt, but it's still kind of a weird thing, and it's always scary when something like that happens. We talked about Daniel Radcliffe doing a Weird Al biopic for I forget the name of the TV show, the TV over there that has the smart TV has its own channel. It's for the first trailer for it came out, and it looks suitably weird, but actually really funny. It looks really, really cool. So that'd be a fun one to probably watch. Activision blames the disappointing sales on their newest Call of Duty video game because it takes place during World War II, and people hate World War II. So, okay, if that's where you want to go with, go for it, man. 25 flamingos were killed by a wild fox at the Washington Zoo this week. That's kind of disturbing. I like my flamingos, and to be slaughtered by a wild fox in the middle of Washington, D.C. is kind of weird there. A new Jackass TV show will be premiering on Paramount Plus. So they've got their own TV show there. Oh, a senior citizen stole a jacket from a that was part of a art pic. It was, someone's art was a jacket hanging on a wall. It was their art, modern art is that's the way it is in a French museum. It is an actual art piece. So a jacket was hanging on the wall, and it was an art piece, stuff like that. A senior citizen saw the jacket, took it off the wall, and then had it changed so that it would fit her. So I found that's kind of a interesting story. This is interesting too. Lake Mead in Utah is having the water level dropping due to kind of a drought area, and a body was found in a barrel in Lake Mead. So could be a serial killer, could be a mafia hit. We'll see what happens. Apparently, there's an Oreo cafe in New Jersey that has all kinds of Oreos, including new types that are tested there before they're released everywhere. Johnny Depp, who's currently winning his court case of defamation case against Amber Heard, has come back. Because of it, is no longer seems to be blackballed. He has signed on to star as King Louis the 15th in a new film about King Louis the 15th that was going to start filming probably later this year. A rare Einstein ring was spied by Hubble. It's like when a bunch of stars form in a circle, and when you line up and they create a circle type of thing. It's something that Einstein theorized and has been proven true. Lion falls in love with a white tiger and they escape a zoo together. It's always fun to see these cute little types of stories about animals. Another great thing, which keeps happening all the time, an animal that was thought to be extinct, in this case, a sea scorpion that can grow to 2 meters. I don't know, that's metric. I don't know much about that. 2 meters long, has been found again in Australia. So that's good for that. Some gorilla stuff. 2 gorilla brothers are reunited after 3 years apart. So they have a reunion similar to when you haven't seen a loved one in a long time, hugging and playing and jumping on each other, stuff like that. A gorilla signed in sign language not to feed him. So letting people know, don't feed me. It's against the rules. And a gorilla also tried to help an injured bird this week as well. And there's also another story that's been making the rounds that popped up again this week, as a woman with a newborn baby was looking at a glass into a gorilla pen, and a gorilla comes over, female gorilla comes over with her new baby to show off her new baby to the newborn, and the mom showing that, hey, we're both new moms and I love your baby and here's my baby, sort of thing. So that's another sort of cute story. So almost done here. Got a small amount of stuff rolling here through, and it's time to go to bed. Spy X Family, which is a popular manga, is now the most popular anime in Japan right now. I can use that for the last song. Scientists revealed the sound of a single bacterium. That's insane. A bacterium are so microscopic, but to get this sound from one of them is absolutely insane. Don't know what that is. Dan Aykroyd is separating from his wife of 30 years, Donna Dixon. No reason is given why, but after 30 years, that's crazy. I told you Guardians of the Galaxy 3 ended filming this week. Well, set photos from the set that was released this week show comic accurate costumes. So it means like they're going to be getting to comic accurate costumes. I also told you last week that Justin Lin had dropped out of filming Fast and Furious 10 a day or two once filming started. He dropped out, and it was going to take $1 million a day to get a replacement. Well, they got their replacement, and Louis Leterrier, who directed the Incredible Hulk movie, he's going to be directing Fast 10. The Echo TV show adds another Native American actress in Deary Jacobs. The Wonder Twin film, which I think a couple weeks ago I told you had been cast, has now been killed by HBO Max. So there will be no Wonder Twins film now. And finally, a Tennessee baseball player just threw a 105.5 mile per hour fastball, the second fastest pitch in baseball history. So that's it for this week's episode of Dylan Knows. Next week's episode 444. We'll see. I'll probably still be able to do it on the 14th. It'll be my brother-in-law's party for him getting his master's in education. So I'll be doing that on 14th. My daughter will be away all weekend. So I'll probably end up doing the show next Saturday. If not, it will be on Sunday at the latest. So enjoy the rest of your week. Go see Doctor Strange 2. It'll be worth it. It's good to see it also before you see all of the spoilers, but don't go in expecting a ton of crazy cameos. There's a few, but nothing major. Not as exciting as people are making it out to be. and people might be a little disappointed. The film hasn't been doing that well critically, but for me, it's still in my top 20, maybe close to my top 15. Maybe I got to go through my list. Marvel films, so definitely worth it, and it's definitely a Sam Raimi film, and definitely if you like Sam Raimi style of filming. And his sort of attitude is kind of good to see that, and it's worth it. And it's a Marvel movie, so definitely go check it out. Now, go enjoy your Mother's Day. Now, just love and everything. So love to you all, and be good.